Raymond Cox, the race director of the Manx Telecom Parish Walk, and the Parish Walk is just about to be launched in the next couple of days. Tell us about the entry system and the date.
Well, Manx Telecom Parish Walk is entries open on December the 1st. We're looking forward to another great event. People who enter early are always the same people. Nice to get them in, but we're looking for people to enter all the way through. We have a reduced entry fee up till January 31st of £30. Manx Telecom customers get an extra £5 off that, and then of course up till March the 31st it's £35, and then closing date is May the 7th. Entries at that late stage cost £40, so it makes economic sense. Get your entries in early. So parishwalk.com, get your entries in.
When will the event start?
Well, June the 17th, I should say. It's a change of date from a previously advertised. We've come back 1 week, and this is at the behest of the DED, who've required us to leave the last weekend in June free. So we've moved back 1 week, and race date is June the 17th.
No headphones this year. What's the story?
Right, this is a rule that's come in through UK Athletics. It's a road race rule, so all races on roads, walk races, running races, require that the entrants do not wear headphones. This is of course for safety reasons. They're on open roads. People must be aware of their own safety and be cognizant and aware that cars and whatever will be using the same road. So for Parish Walk it means no headphones, and that rule will be enforced.
Okay, we wanted to get that mentioned in an early stage during the interview. It's your 23rd year as race director. What changes have you seen, and what's been the driving forces of that change during that time?
Right, yeah, 1995 was the first year that
the year after you walked it, was it?
I finished in 1994. I was very much unaware of the Parish Walk up till that point. I knew it went on, and I read about it in the paper. So in 1994 I walked for the Cystic Fibrosis Trust and raised lots and lots of money. Fabulous experience, and I got the bug. The same way as so many people have got the bug since. You come to the Parish Walk, you experience it, and then all of a sudden you just want to do it repeatedly. So instead of actually walking it, I became part of the organisation, and there was
always a good team of helpers there, but there's a lot more people involved now, and a lot more sponsorship and so forth. What's changed, and how has it evolved over the years?
There's always been a tremendous committee who have been there, some of them longer than I've been involved, committed to the Parish Walk, and every year do such a tremendous amount of work. The race has grown hugely in terms of entries, it's grown hugely in terms of the complexity of the results service, etc, etc, and of course that's all been made possible by commercial sponsorship, both providing the money, which Manx Telecom have stepped in to do now for, it will be their 6th year as the headline sponsor, but also with the technological support, being able to provide that direction and access to expertise. That's been really a very important part of being able to provide the Parish Walk experience that we're now able to do.
But I think a lot of the extra facilities that have been introduced over the years are probably get taken for granted for a long time. The introduction of texting of the times at churches and something was quite innovative at the time, and there's been quite a few changes like that in the time that Manx Telecom have been involved as timing sponsors since 2007.
Yeah, so they came on board very early on to help us with the timing. We were the first race to provide a real-time website result service. That combined with the texting service that we had for support crews. These were very innovative things back in 2007, and frankly every year since we've improved upon that service. It's become kind of accepted that it's there and everybody enjoys having it, and maybe a little bit complacent, but the amount of work that goes into it is still tremendous, and we recognise the contribution from people at Manx Telecom and also Sport Ident who do the race result service for us.
Because the event has got a huge budget, hasn't it? The cost of bringing the timing equipment over, the whole system is a major part of the budget, and you also got a lot of infrastructure costs and so on as well.
Which are going up.
Where does all the money go?
Well, to be quite honest, 50% of that budget goes on the timing and all the associated results service and everything else that we do. Pick to Go, which has become really popular, and we've had tremendously positive feedback on that. You know, the infrastructure, just literally getting barriers in place, putting no parking cones in place, putting out the loos. It just, the list goes on and on. And all those services cost. We get charged for policing. It's quite a hefty service. The road closures actually run into some thousands of pounds just to provide the road closures. These are things that we must do, of course, and they're costs that we meet head on, and fortunately we are well funded.
And in the UK, things like the London Marathon and also the Great Run Company that seem to organise most of the events all have paid officials, full-time paid officials pay quite good salaries. Who's the top earner in the Parish Walk organisation?
Well, we don't have a top earner because we don't have any earners. Nobody gets paid a fee per se. Yes, expenses are paid, but I know for a fact that nobody ever actually takes from the Parish Walk as much as they put in. All the committee members, you know, taking their time out of it, yet they still put their hands in their pocket to actually do things for the Parish Walk. I think it's everybody's contribution to what is a tremendous day, and you know that's I think that's part of why the Parish Walk is such a success.
And let's talk about the walk itself then. 85 miles, 17 churches, even though some of the churches unfortunately are closing down. Numbers have tailed off a little bit, but it's still a huge event when you consider the historic numbers taking part. How do you go about attracting new people and innovating and just getting more young people involved?
Well, for starters, I think we need to provide a really good experience on the day, and that's what we really strive for. That's both creating the right atmosphere, making sure it's a safe environment for the walkers. So I think the race, it does stand on its own 2 feet, literally. So word of mouth, that's probably the best advertising for the Parish Walk. "Ooh, I did the Parish Walk last year, you should do it." Things like that. So we have a very good and strong re-entry, as it were. We have tried to promote the under-21 race more, but that's, I think, an area that, frankly, the Parish Walk is always going to attract a slightly older athlete. It is an endurance event, and I think people with slightly older, more stamina, I think that's the event that is for them rather than the youngsters. So we still look to bring in new people because obviously one has to have next year's Parish stars coming in. In terms of numbers, we have not had record numbers in the last couple of years. The peak was a couple of years ago, but that frankly isn't alarming. There's still a very strong entry, and we will look to have between 1,300 and 1,500 people on the Parish Walk line on June 17th, and that represents still a very significant percentage of the Manx population.